Hi everybody, this is Mr. D. Good morning, and I'm just going to show you the highlights of Chapter 4 that we haven't covered yet due to snow and sickness and illness and stuff like that. So we last talked about sports, and we're looking at Section 4.4, folk and popular house styles. Today we were supposed to cover food, shelter, and clothing, so we'll go over this really quickly. So section 4.4 in your textbook. You could pause this video anytime you want to catch up and look for the pages. So let's look at houses first. You can see here on this map, I don't know what figure this is, that there are hearths or central places where the housing moved from there with the people as they migrated. The coast is different from the interior highlands of the south, and the northeast moved along the Erie Canal and out to the Midwest. And you get these different types of houses there. Okay, we have all sorts of different types of houses. You might see or hear some of these before. And there's a picture showing the popular type houses. Western communities of China. China has different houses than we do, obviously. And there's Mongolia, which is north of China, south of Russia. And you can see the different types of houses. These are called yurts or gurs. And you can see this is a typical house in Mongolia, in Ulaanbaatar, with their household items everywhere. And you can see here it's PVC piping, fencing, and then a whole bunch of canvas and stuff like that to keep it warm. You can see how it's made on the next slide. Again, you can pause anytime you want. A red door for luck and fortune, and an old beaten down Russian motorcycle there. So housing is specific to certain locations, and we have certain types of housing in this area, such as mill houses. I'm sure you've seen mill villages around, these old sometimes abandoned mills. If you look in Gastonia, there's a whole bunch of areas you can see them. Wicks on Ozark, Firestone Mill or Lowray Mill down in West Gastonia. All the way along Route 7 Ozark. That street, airline, whatever you want to call it, goes all the way to Belmont, and that's the old highway that connects all the mill villages. So just check out one of those little mill villages. If you've known anybody or lived in them like I have, you know it's a small little house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, fireplace in the living room, and a small side room for the washing machine and stuff like that. Small little typical houses. Next section is 4.5 food. I don't know why that keeps coming up. Folk and popular culture food preferences. We have something called taboos. You might have heard that before. In anthropology, they talk about this a whole bunch. It's a restriction on behavior imposed by social customs. A lot of them have religious texts behind them, and we have different food preferences all over the world. In Asia, rice is grown because it's milder, wetter environments. Wheat is grown in colder environments and drier environments like the Midwest of the United States. You'll find rice growing in Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, the coast down there, and the wheat in Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas because it's drier and colder. In the United States, we're potatoes people, and we're getting a little more rice, but mostly potatoes as our staple starch. Also, people avoid certain foods because of negative associations with that food. A lot of places around the world have, they eat, we consider them pets, like dogs or guinea pigs, but in other places of the world, that's a normal type of food. Okay. So you can see we're swine or pigs. You can see in the United States we eat swine, but in certain areas, North Africa, Southwest Asia, where you have Islam and Judaism, even though Judaism is there. Stop doing that, please. Thank you. Again, Africa is religious-based issues here, and then you can see India very high because they don't eat other meat. Okay, here's the swine stock. I think one of these is your slide. Food taboos deeply embedded with the physical environment. Okay, because of the culture, the atmosphere, the climate influences what you're going to eat. Obviously. wine. You can see the wine, stuff like that. Here's wine vineyards, so on and so forth. Clothing traditions, again, folk and popular clothing preferences, selected design to meet agricultural practices, climatic conditions. So again, here in the southeast United States, many of us are wearing shorts this week, and it's early March. Other parts of the United States here, you're in rain gear, you're still in parkas. So the folk and clothing traditions are dependent upon climate as well. Excuse me. And again, with migration, you see these things going with people. And now we have technology and television and the internet, where we have a blending of the folk traditions, and we're starting to all wear jeans and all wear shorts. The jeans come from African American societies in the North Mississippi Delta, the Yazoo Delta, and it became very popular in the 50s as the local, as the young person thing to do. And 50 years ago, everyone in class would be wearing suit and ties, and there would be very little females at a community college. But today, everyone's dressed with t-shirts and jeans and shorts, as the culture has sort of released its strictness. So that's awful, but that's the way it is. You see folk cultural traditions. You know what that one is? Oh, wait. It's Amish. Good. This is East or South Africa. Looks more like Maasai in Kenya. And here you can see the Andes in Peru, or Colombia, or Ecuador, Bolivia maybe, or northern Chile. Again, these are much more folk traditions, isolated, small communities, not in contact with the rest of the world per se. Now you hear a lot of stories about controversial folk clothing. Like this one is a burqa, and it's covering the face. FIFA this week just said that's okay as long as you could see the face while playing. You could wear a headscarf for religious and cultural traditions and reasons. France had a whole big issue with this. With driver's licenses, people were getting driver's licenses in their burqa. But I think that has changed a little bit, so you need to have a face, obviously. But it's very controversial. Where do you have that society that's a folk society finish their traditions, turn down their traditions they've held for such a long time, and join the other society that they're within, where there's other rules? And again, the face covering and burqas, these predate Islam. They were before Islam came around in the 600s. Cultural traditions because of, again, climate issues and property rights. In this case, we're dealing with people as property rights. Traditional. Popular culture, again, reflects occupation. I wear jeans, I wear khakis to work. I would not be able to wear shorts to work. Other people have smocks and lab coats, hard hats, tough jeans for construction workers. We have different uniforms that reflect our occupation. And again, communication, TV, internet, radio has really influenced the popular clothing. You can see jeans all over the world now. It's very popular, very normal stuff. Okay, this picture is my friend's sister. This is my friend's sister right here. This is Vietnamese. This is her wedding photo with her new husband and new groom, I should say. And these are photos taken for the wedding for the elders in each of their families. As you see the next slide here, this is the next set of photos, and this is very much more Western. As a young couple, they have much more influence from the outside world than their parents and grandparents did, so they want to become like the rest of the world, and a white pure dress, black power suit. And you can see in the lower left corner, the English is really funny. It says beautiful lady, and there's other things in there, but I had a whole bunch of these postcards because I knew Lai, and They have some weird English phrases that just, it's cool because it's English. Again, this is very much traditional and folk for the elders of their families, and this is for all their friends. It's a really kind of cool comparison there. Okay, so that's the food, shelter, and clothing. Very, very quickly, if you have questions, we'll come over and we'll talk about them on Wednesday in class, or the next time we meet, I should say. And I'll stop right now, and I'll do the second part for what we should be finishing up in the rest of the chapter. Thank you so much, and let me see if